Question 1. Taylor is required to measure certain quantities at the physics labs and she sees the following measuring instruments. So for part A, identify the most appropriate measuring instrument to measure the following quantities. So we start by the first one, diameter of a pencil lead. So we know that if it's a pencil lead and I want to measure the diameter, there are two equipments from this entire list which we can either use. We can either use the micrometer screw gauge or we can use a vernier caliper. Both answers are acceptable. So for diameter of a pencil lead, I can either say that I use a micrometer screw gauge, or you can also use a vernier caliper as well. Okay, this is the answer for diameter of pencil lead. Next part, circumference of measuring a cylinder. So if we recall, circumference means that I want to measure how long is the curve length. And for this part over here, we cannot use a micrometer screw gauge or a vernier caliper to measure circumference. So for this question, for measuring cylinder, I would have to use a measuring tape to measure circumference of this measuring cylinder. Okay. Next part, mass of a mobile phone. So if you remember, to measure mass, we cannot use a bathroom scale. We have to use a beam balance, which is the only way, one of the equipments that stated here that allows us to measure mass. So for mass of a mobile phone, we use a beam balance. And for the weight of a luggage, we can just use a simple bathroom scale. So this is the answer for question 1A. Question 1B, correct fill in the table with the correct SI unit for each quantity. All these numbers here are just given as distractors. You can just identify the quantity that you're looking at from the quantity measured. Radius is a form of length. We know the SI unit of radius is in meters. Next part, period. Period is the time taken for a pendulum to complete one oscillation, and therefore SI unit is seconds. Next one, temperature. Temperature, we know that the SI unit of temperature is in kelvins. And the last one, average mass. So I know that the keyword here is mass, and the SI unit for mass is in kg. So this is simply the answer for question 1B. 1C. Arrange the following quantities in ascending order of its magnitude. So if you recall, look at the word ascending, you should know that ascending would mean from smallest all the way to the biggest. So we have to identify which is the smallest order of magnitude among all these 5 things that are stated. So obviously we can see that the size of the typical atom is the smallest. Followed by the width of a human hair. Followed by the diameter of a wire. Followed by the length of a pair of chopsticks. And the biggest order of magnitude would obviously be the radius of the Earth. So this is the answer to question 1C. And this will be all for question 1.